Masandawana. Greetings to everyone watching this from across the African continent. Welcome to yet another installment of the Yellow Corner. The Yellow Corner is Mamelodi Sundowns supporters YouTube channel where we preview all Mamelodi Sundowns football club matches. And this time we bring you the preview of our away trip to Algeria as we take on CR Belouizdad in the CAF Champions League quarterfinals first leg. Rabs, how are you?
Hayi mna Veron wena.
Yes, apho bathi ke tshwile. Hey. It's that time of
Uthile.
Hey man, you know what has happened in the last 3 years, man? We've been knocked out of the quarterfinals of the Champions League at this stage, man. So I'm kind of nervous, man. I do not want to feel what I felt at FNB last year. That was one of the worst days of my life, man. Like that feeling was not nice, man. And I hate that picture, that long trip, and yeah. Yeah, I know I was going through a lot, man, that day, man. But yeah, hopefully we rectify the mistakes of the past and we progress to the semi-finals, finals, and then eventually win this trophy, man. Rabs, we're supposed to before this game, yeah, CR Belouizdad, the quarterfinal game, we're supposed to play Richards Bay in the DStv Premier League, but the game was moved to next week. Would you have preferred us to have played this match, Richards Bay, or you were happy that we flew out early?
I'm happy that we flew out early so that we have enough time to prepare for our biggest game of the season. But one we have chose that or wanted that we play Richard Bay before we play CR Belouizdad so that we can at least get a win from Richard Bay. Real quarterfinal we come from a win, but I think also coming from a loss, I think, and after a long time, I think it will be a motivation to the players as well.
Yes. I would have honestly preferred us to have played this match, man. I think Bay is one of those teams that's really struggling. I don't think they've had a win in their last 10 or so games. So I would have preferred us to have played this game, win it, and go out with high in confidence. You know, I'm really worried by the confidence of our boys. You know, but at the same time, you understand the logistics that come with having to fly to the northern part of the continent. You know, so I understand why we flew out early, and having read the interview that the club's website did, Coach Hulani, you understand the reasons behind flying out early, you know. But like I said, man, you know, if we had played and say we won convincingly, we go into this game high morale and yeah, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see on Saturday. We've only scored 2 goals in the last 360 minutes of play, Raps. Why are we suddenly starting to score goals, man?
Why are we starting to?
Suddenly struggling to score goals.
I think one would say it is because of complacency, and also I would say we have been changing the squad, but we have been doing that in the middle of the season, and we're still getting goals. So I don't think now it is an excuse or we are failing to get goals because of the changing of the squad. But I think one would say it is complacency and knowing that you have won the league, and whatever happens, you are still going to be the champions.
Yes, yeah, no, I agree with certain points, Zaha, but I don't think we've changed the squad enough for us to use that as an excuse. Yes, I think winning the league this early, as good as it is, as great as it is that we get in so many the guard of honor, but hey, man, it's killed our momentum, man, because you can't deceive the mind. The mind knows, oh, we've already won the league, you know, and it's what there isn't much motivation going into this game. So the sad part is that you come momentum, you can't just switch it on and off and on. The sad thing is you switch it on, off, come on leaking, but there are two other tournaments that you still have to play. So we prepare for the other tournaments, it becomes a difficult, So I really hope, man, we turn it around. I was watching a Liverpool podcast. So which one was I watching? The Anfield rep, I think. Yeah. So it was after the Liverpool's 6-1 win against Leeds, and the guys were talking about how Liverpool in the last two games, the second half year game Arsenal as well as this full game year Leeds, how in the later stages of the game, Liverpool players were still marking. I'm not sure if you saw the video that was kind of what's the word when the video is
Trending.
not trending, but yeah, just trending for the lack of a better word. Where Klopp was saying, "Oh my God," got a 92nd minute where Liverpool players pressed one, three Liverpool players pressed one Leeds player. So they were saying, well, Liverpool, the reason why in the last two games they've been running so much is because they are programmed for at this stage of the season they need to be fighting. They know they are normally in the Champions League. They normally fighting the league, even though it's not happening this season. But that's how they are programmed. So Ona is having won the league already. It's hey man, yeah. Like I said, momentum is very crucial in what you call this in football. Do you think because of all this, there's panic within the squad now?
Yeah, no, I think there will be a slightly panic. One, because of we have not been doing well in the past four games, and two, because of this is the stage where we normally get eliminated. So I think the panic will come from those 2 points. I think having not playing well in your previous games and also being knocked out in the quarterfinal. I think for the past, I think 2 or 3 seasons in a row. So I think obviously there will be panic, but I believe that the players can draw a motivation from that. I think the players, there's a new, I would say a new crop of players that would want to make a new history for themselves. So I think they want to rectify what has been happening in the past seasons in the CAF Champions League. I think this panic can be turned into motivation.
Yeah, you're making a great point, Carl. This is a different crop of players, not necessarily new, holistically, but
Yeah.
a different crop of players. And Coach Hulani has always maintained we need to give this group of players a chance, something that I think we should, I think it's only natural or when things are not going the way you want them to go in life. You press panic buttons. They are only human, But yeah, I think a positive result away in Algeria turns everything around because I think these guys have been playing so well, man. It's ending season year coming to an end in the next 2 weeks will be it won't be a good feeling to them, and I'm sure they will fight. Speaking of the season, will this season be a success if we only win the league championship?
This question is leading to hashtag CAF Champions League or nothing.
Now that you've mentioned that, Champions League or nothing, are you pro Champions League or nothing, or you?
Nah, I'm neutral.
Okay,
But
explain.
I think winning the league obviously alone will not be enough. I think what would have been slightly enough, at least it is winning the league, the Nedbank Cup, maybe going as far as the semi-final of the Champions League. I think it would have been an improvement, but winning the league alone, I think it's like going few steps backward compared to what happened in the last season. So I think a league alone from the from our history, yeah, we have been winning league for the past 6 seasons. I think there should be an improvement. You should go a few steps ahead compared to the previous season. So yeah.
Champions League or nothing?
No one wants to explain what is nothing. That
Nothing is getting rid of the technical team. That's nothing. That's my
that's okay.
yeah.
All right. With that understanding of yours, now even if we fail to win the CAF Champions League, I would still keep the technical team for the next season.
Okay. Let me start whether it will be a success if we only win the league. I think no. I think no. Yes, winning the league is great. Doing it 6 years in a row is absolutely madness, you know. But I think at the beginning of the season, I think even the supporters of the other big two teams, if they bet on Sundowns winning the league. So I think it's standard winning the league for Sundowns. So
Yeah.
I don't think it will. I don't want to say it's not failure, but it's not success at the same time. I hope I make sense in some way. Then, Champions League or nothing. I wouldn't swap Coach Rulani for any other coach. I think Rulani Mkwena is generational talent. You know how we always talk about players being generational talent, Jude Bellingham and all these other players in the EPL. I think Rulani Mkwena is generational talent, and getting rid of Rulani Mkwena will be probably the biggest mistake Sundowns would have ever made, you know, because uh, I can see where he's going with this team. I can see what he wants to achieve with this team. I enjoy watching his team play football. So it will be disappointing not to win the Champions League. Then it will really be disappointing. But I don't think because of that we should get decided or no. No, he's failed. He needs to go. I think give him a chance to go into preseason because the last preseasons as much as the Kiri joint coaches, there's three of them. There's three different ideologies in terms of how everyone wants the team to play. There are times where he might want to say something, but because there's three of them, he holds back. Well, now this
Yeah.
is his team. He goes into preseason. He plans his preseason. He he goes with his ideology. Yes, he'll take the advice from the what do you call this, his assistants and the other technical team members. But at the end of the day, that's his team. He has the final say. So I think man, if Sundowns was to get rid of Ulen, I'd probably I'd lose my whatever, man. Hey, but yeah, I'm not pro Champions League or nothing. Eh? Rabs, this team, CR Belouizdad, are they good enough to beat Sundowns? I don't think so. I don't think this team is good enough to beat Sundowns. The same way I thought Petro was not good enough to have beaten Sundowns last season. Yes, they were really good, but Sundowns should not have lost to that team. CR Belouizdad, they're not good enough to beat Sundowns. They did really well in their group to come second and amass 10 points. I think a point behind number one. So they did really well. But when all is said and done, you look at how they play, you look at how we've played throughout the season, we are a far better team than CR Belouizdad. We should not be getting knocked out of the Champions League by that team. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think this team, as much as they are dominating in their league, but in the CAF Champions League, I think it will be difficult for them to compete with the big boys. And I looked at their log in the CAF Champions League, that was Group D. They're a team that scored less goals in their group, but they managed to qualify. They scored less goals, they conceded less
Yes.
goals. So it shows that they don't score enough, but they don't concede a lot of goals. And scoring 4 goals in your group, I think it shows that there's negative in their maybe approach or in their attack. And as Sundowns, you can't be defeated by a team that scores 4 goals in their group stage. And I think Rona scored about 13, if I'm not
13.
mistaken. Yeah, so you compare the two, the stats. I think stats favors Mamelodi Sundowns, but what happens in the pitch, it may be different compared to the stats.
Yeah, the stats that I was actually going to go to that subject, that is stats from the point that I just made. And they considered the least number of goals and they scored the least number of goals in the Champions League. They considered 2 goals in 6 matches. They scored 4 goals in 6 matches. Now, they average 1.2 big chances per game, which is, I mean, not good enough. I mean, like that's a very low number, man, to average in a game. So I think it will be a difficult game. I think their plan would be let's not concede at home, even if it's 0-0, but let's not concede at home. Let's go to South Africa not having conceded. I think that will be their plan, judging by how they played the group stages and the number of goals they scored and conceded. They come into this match a very similar form to ours. I mean, in their last 5 games, they've only won one. In their last three, they've won zero. And looking at this, at how similar form, how similar both clubs are in terms of form, what would be a good result for Sundowns to bring to South Africa? I think if we don't win this game, we must play a draw, yeah, the goals, but not just a 1-1 draw. I think a 2-2 draw would be a perfect result if we don't win away. But with that said, I still believe the Sundowns team is good enough. It's way, way better than the Belouizdad team, and it should be beating this team. What would be a good result to come back home with us?
I think for me it will be a win. I think a win away for us will be a good result because of a draw is an okay result, but in a disadvantage is because of you can get that 2-2 draw, but they arrive here in South Africa, they get a one silly goal and they defend their goal until the 90th minute. So that means that draw you played go Algeria, it will be a waste because of they still managed to outscore you at home. So I think we should go all out and win this game, and I think a win for us will be very huge away. And we haven't won in the first leg of the quarterfinals in a while. So I think we should try and get a win. Maybe we'd have huge chances of progressing to the next stages.
Yes, yeah, no, because in the past, man, we've gone away and not got a positive result, ne? That first leg, ne? But not a bad result, terrible result where you think,
Yeah.
when you come back home, you will not turn this around, you know. So it'd be nice, man, to come back home having won a game and knowing what they have no option but to come at you and then they open up
Yeah.
spaces and then you take advantage of the space they leave behind. But in the 6 games that they've played, Rabs, they've played 3 different formations, ne? Modi group staging. They've played 4-3-3, 4-1-3-2, 4-3-1-2. Looking at this, do we plan according to how they've played the formations that the different formations that they've played, or do we go and play the Sundowns way? Because for now, I think we should go the Sundowns way. I think we should go and impose our game. I don't think this team is at the level yabo Raja, yabo Al Ahly, yabo Experience de Tunis, where you don't fear them, but you respect them. So I think we impose ourselves on them and then force them to change their formation according to how we play. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and I think the biggest team between these two sides, I think it is Mamelodi Sundowns, and we should show that we are a bigger team compared to them in terms of our approach and how we set up our team. So I think we should go with what has worked for us, and like you have said, we should be the ones that forcing them to change their lineup in order to suit them to compete with Mamelodi Sundowns. So I think we should stick to our approach because of, like I've said, we are between the two sides. Mamelodi Sundowns is the bigger team if you compare based on the success and the history of the CAF Champions League.
Mm. They do not have a lot of players that stand out, man. They have a good team, but they don't have a lot of players that you think, yes, you look at Sundowns, you think, oh, Shalulili, Tembazwan, Mailula, you can name them all. But there's one boy that's really good, the one player that I think will trouble us. He's a forward. He plays either center forward or left forward. In his name is Anayo Iwala. I hope I pronounced his name correctly, man. He's very, very fast, man. He's right-footed. He's lightning fast, and he's very, very tricky. So I think that's the player that we need to watch out for. From what I've seen, he's the one that can give them something. He's very good at the balls that are played behind the defense that he can run into. He's very good on taking his men. If he is able to isolate a defender, he's very good. He will take his men. Your thoughts? Have you seen him? And do you think he's the player to watch?
Yeah, you spoke about them having that individual player that can produce some individual brilliance. In the past, I think the last time we faced them, they had a guy called Sayud, which is their number 10. And remember when he spoke about him, and and he's, I think he scored when we played them away, but it
Yeah.
was in the neutral vein. I think he got a goal, and I think in Pretoria he also scored. But this season they have Iwala, and what shocked me is that he's very strong, he's quick, he's built like Adama Traore, but then he's more skillful and he can play in tight spaces. But what made me to be more relieved is that he plays as a left forward. That means he'll be
Yeah.
So if he was on the right, I think as a right forward, I think that will be my worry. But because of he'll be up against Mudau, and I think Mudau in terms of the physique, the pace, and the strength, I think Mudau can match him.
I fully agree with you. I fully agree. The first time, the first clip that I saw with Yaha, he was on the right, cutting in inside. I'm like, yes, this guy, Ali fastest, so he's gonna travel up Zahe. But then, as I watched a lot of their games, I realized, oh no, he's actually he's right-footed, but he's either a center forward or a left forward. So I think Kuliso can handle him with I'm not gonna say ease and jinx it, and then he runs circles around Kuliso. Raps, what should we do to win this match?
I think for us, this team has analyzed us based on how we have played and the mistakes that we have made. in the previous games, and also how Al Ahly pressed us and how Stelis pressed us. So I think they would want to put pressure starting from the guys who are playing at the top. So I think our build up, I think we should sometimes not try to be smart. If we have to clear the ball, we have to clear the ball, and maybe Bushalule they will chase up front, because sometimes you are trying to be smart, they dispossess you and they score. And remember, we are playing away and we don't want to concede. So I think our build up, if we see that it will not work for us here, let's clear the ball and maybe try to regroup. And I think Mudau, because of it doesn't offer much offensively, I think you should keep an eye on Iwala, should be closer to him, should man mark him. I think the side that maybe should be more creative and push a little bit up. I think it will be Mudiba, based on how he's good on the ball and how he's good in the final third of the pitch. And I think a guy like Blesser in this game, I think, will be very crucial. One, because of his stamina in terms of covering spaces, and also when we have the ball, in terms of progressing with the ball. And I think against Al Ali in Egypt was very brilliant in terms of marking and closing down players. And also once we have the position, he played a very good role in terms of getting the ball from the defenders and progressing with it to find Mayema and Zwane. And I think him, and I think Mayema in this game, because of you are playing a 4-3-3, that means you don't have a left winger. I'm expecting Mayema when CR Belouizdad they build up. I'm expecting Mayema to go slightly on the left to close that right back of CR Belouizdad, because of his very offensive and his pace. So I think Mayema should go slightly on the left and Musheshe should drop a little bit deeper to Mayema's position, so that we have a good we have enough players in the middle, and also on the wide we have a good players as well. And the team that they don't, their man marking inside the box, I think it is very poor. They concede a lot, a number of lot goal. They concede a lot of goals inside the box. So I think the movement inside the box of us should be very sharp. And one thing, the other thing I've witnessed from them is that their build up starts from the right, because of the right center back is more good on the ball and he can progress with the ball, and the right uh, the right back can also overlap and offer creativity. So we should force them to build up from the left side, so that we are able to get something and they are not dangerous compared to when the build up starts from the right.
Yeah, no, you've said a mouthful, man. You've said a lot, and I'm just gonna add 1 or 2 points. I think the most important thing, uh, the crowd plays a huge role when you play these North African teams. Né? So I think the crowd will be amped. They will be up for this. Né? The the one thing that we need to do is shut them down. How do we shut them down? You don't necessarily just go on attack. No, you keep possession, you knock it around, you frustrate them, like you keep possession and you tire them, you make them chase, and that subsequently goes to how they are born out. It tones them down, and then once we've settled as a team, we've settled down, we then start attacking. Yes, you'll have sporadic attacks when you're trying to settle the crowd down. But once they settle, then you have settled as a team. You now go start attacking the way Sundowns attacks them. Like I said, we need to take care of Iwala. I think he poses their biggest threat. So once you take that away from them, you've nullified the majority of the team. Né? And because of how fast he is, our rest defense needs to be perfect. Because if that guy gets behind our defense, it's curtains. He's fast. There's no one in our defense who will catch him unless Thapelo plays there. We've not been taking our chances more so in the last two games. We create chances, but we don't score. So it's very important that when we get chances, we score, and that settles that comes the nerves. Once you score and you don't play under pressure, you don't go. If they score first, now you're under pressure, you start making silly mistakes because one, you're thinking of the history in this tournament and how we've been knocked out, and so I think we need to take our chances. Rabs, there's an issue that we have at the back. It doesn't seem like Grant Kekana has traveled with the team. It seems like Grant is out of this match. Who plays at the right back? Who replaces Mval? Who replaces Grant?
I think for me will be AB. I think AB, I'll go with him because of we are playing a team that might press us. And with AB, that means you'll have balance. That means you'll have a guy at the more left center back as a left-footed player. That means there will be a balance in defense because of the second goal that we considered against Stelis. If Mtobi was left-footed, I think we would have considered that goal because of a left-footed player at more in a left center back. He positions himself differently when there's a pass, and he opens his body differently when he receives the pass, unlike a right-footed player as a left center back. So I think the positioning and the opening of the body becomes the difference.
Fully agree with you. I'm going with AB in this game. I think he's great on the ball. I think he's magnificent on the ball. I think he can break lines easily, and because of that, I'll go with him. He will help us progress the ball easily. Rouge is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Rouge is a bad player, but what Rouge can do, Mvala can also do in terms of being hard on center forwards. Marking. I think AB brings a different element in terms of how good he is on the ball, and I think we're going to need someone who's really good on the ball in this match. Score prediction?
I think we'll win 2-1.
I think it will be a 1-1 draw. I think it will be a 1-1 draw. Yeah, who's scoring?
I think Shalile will score and Tembazwan will score as well.
I'll go for Tembazwan. I'll go for Tembazwan. And yeah, Masandawana and everyone who's watching this across the African continent, that's yet another installment of the Yellow Corner. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, like, and comment. And yeah, let's talk about who do you think should partner Mvala on Saturday, because it seems like Papa Titi is out of this match. You will see us next week, Monday, or even maybe Sunday, as we preview our midweek fixture against I almost said Stellenbosch because they beat us, so they still in my mind, against Richards Bay at Loftus next week. Until then, Sharp Masandawana, Sharp Ndoish.
Sharp Masandawana, Shosho Edzo.